Okay, welcome back to our series, Typical Mistakes the French Make. Now, on today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about misused words. Don't worry, even us English speakers make mistakes in French. So let's get started. All right, number one on the list. What is it? The verb étranger. Étranger. All right, usually I hear people use it. He is a stranger to express someone who comes from a different country. But actually, the correct answer or the correct usage is he is a foreigner. So why is it translated into two different words in English? Well, because usually a stranger is someone we don't know, for example, in a cafe, in a restaurant, in general. Whereas a foreigner is someone who comes from a completely different country than our very own. Other examples I could possibly give to you are, for example, ooh, who's that stranger? He is so handsome. For example, or another one would be, she's a foreigner, so she has to go to the prefecture for her visa. Like me. There you go. Okay. The second misused word I hear a lot, or words in this case, is the difference between here and there. Every single time I call one of my friends and I ask them, where are you? They tell me, I'm there. And I ask them, where? Usually they would like to say, je suis ici, ou je suis sur place. Now, if you would like to say that in English, it's actually, I'm here, sur place, not there. There in English usually means là-bas. And that's why I usually ask, where are you? And other examples that are a little more concrete are, for example, moi je suis ici à Paris, alors que mon frère il est là-bas à New York. I am here in Paris, whereas my brother is over there in New York. So just remember that next time you call one of your friends and tell them where you are. There you go. Okay, the third misused word that I hear a lot is actually fun and funny. Okay, usually I hear the French say, oh, this weekend was so funny. And I'm like, what was so funny about it? For me, actually in English, fun is equivalent to, in French, amusant, and funny is drôle for me. So usually we use fun to talk about something that's really entertaining. That is something that, for example, we spent a good time with friends, and we usually say it was fun. Versus funny, which usually makes us laugh. For example, if one of my friends tells a really good joke and I laugh, I usually find that joke really funny. Another way we use funny is sometimes to express things that seem a little strange or bizarre to us. For example, if I'm going to the supermarket and I'm trying to find some raw fish to make some, sushi for some reason, and I smell this fish and I say, it smells a little funny. In that case, a little strange, a little bizarre, a little suspicious. So that's the difference between fun and funny. So don't mix it up. That's it. Okay, so the fourth misused word that I hear, or words, is library and bookshop. In French, bibliothèque et librairie. In French, one would say a mistake, for example, a phrase in French, je suis allé à la librairie pour acheter un livre. In English, I went to the library to buy a book. The correct answer is, I went to the bookshop to buy a book. What's the explanation? The explanation is bibliothèque is directly translated as a library, where you go study, where you go borrow books and then return them back to the library. Whereas the bookshop is where you go, look at books, and then buy books and keep them for yourself. So remember that, okay? And don't make that mistake. There you go. Okay, so the fifth misused word I usually hear is a direct mistake from translation. In French, you have one word, avocat. and you use it for two different reasons. Either A, to express the fruit that you eat, that is green, you put in smoothies, etc. And B, to basically talk about the profession, the legal representative. Now in English, we actually translate it into two words. I hear the mistake all the time. J'ai parlé avec mon avocat, and I heard one person make this mistake. I talked to my avocado. I was a little confused, and afterwards I understood why. Because in French, you have one word that represents two words in English. We have, for example, avocado, which is the fruit that we eat, and then we have lawyer, which is the legal representative, the person that we talk to. So just make sure you don't make that mistake. I even made that mistake on occasion. So there you go. Okay, the last misused word, or in this case, expression, I hear a lot. It usually comes from a phrase I usually hear often. For example, you say in French, elle travaille beaucoup, elle est un working girl. That usually means that she works a lot, right, in French. But in English, if you were to say she is a working girl, sometimes we use the expression working girl to politely refer to a prostitute who earns their living through sexual actions. So just be very careful in using that expression. Instead of using working girl, in English, I would use she works a lot, or she is a workaholic, which is kind of more a la mode nowadays. There you go.